laying down 3-ball after 3-ball.
Oh! Dellavedova puts it on a platter, and Marcus Lee takes care of the rest. Galloway steps into the three, back-to-back threes for the Taipans, and they hit the lead. You look down for a second, you'll miss the score. Armstrong, raining threes in Melbourne. Edwards for three, and he stares down the Melbourne United bench. Melbourne can sense the urgency now, and they can't stop Edwards. The Cairns Taipans continue their dominance over Melbourne United. For many seasons now, Melbourne United have been one of the benchmark teams here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. They have their way with just about everyone, whether that's at home or away, but for some unknown reason, they cannot tame the Snakes. The Cairns Taipans have beaten them in 6 of their last 7 contests and return to John Cain Arena, hungry for another win this afternoon. Great to have your company here on Sunday Hoops. Brilliant crowd, brilliant atmosphere for Melbourne United taking on Cairns. I'm Jack Heverin, Pete Hooley and Andrew Gaze alongside me as we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder. For some unknown reason, as we say, the Taipans just seem to get it done against Melbourne United.
It's quite extraordinary, isn't it? 6 out of the last 7, but this is a team where Adam Ford has found the formula to make it difficult for Melbourne United. Melbourne United, one of the elite defending teams in the competition, and they're going to have their work cut out here tonight against a team that loves to shoot the 3-ball. If we go back a few weeks when the Cairns Taipans were able to get over the top of them, it was from the 3-point line where they got it done. Unfortunately, though, tonight it looks like they might have a few players missing.
We'll get to that very shortly. Pete Hooley, welcome to you. An emotion-charged night in Illawarra on Thursday. Melbourne United got the job done, but Chris Goulding took them apart, and he was the most spoken about person from that game too.
He sure was. I mean, what transpired from that moment on, there was so much of it that's still ongoing. And again, you look back and we saw his numbers just there. So this was the thing that kind of sparked it all. The foul initially, what was going to be the foul. This whole play ended up not even counting no matter what because of an equipment failure. There was so much that came out of it, but he was enormous in this game. And again, he goes from a hostile crowd there to his home crowd here. He got a big ovation. You expect that.
Justin Tatum, the coach of the Illawarra Hawks, none too pleased after the game.
You know, we're just happy that Chris Goulding didn't hurt himself flopping in front of us. So, you know, I'm glad that, you know, he's injury-free.
And still some stuff ongoing from that game, as Pete said. Jack White in that game, phenomenal. 19 rebounds, Andrew Gaze. He got the Windex out and was shining glass.
Yeah, that's outrageous in this level of competition. He single-handedly was on a mission on the board. Dennis Rodman, the way he was sweeping the glass. He's averaging 10 a game, so it's no surprise, but that's one out of the box for Jack White. And they'll welcome that and need a little bit more of that here tonight.
Hools, for the Cairns Taipans, Rob Edwards is their #1 man, and we'll get to who's not playing shortly. He was excellent on Friday night against Adelaide, albeit in a losing campaign, but have other teams just found a way, not to stop him, but just to maybe slow him down a little?
I think because of the key pieces they've had, especially Taron Armstrong, it just allows not just one-on-one defenders like it would be if Shaylee was playing here, or Delhi or Flynn Cameron, but all 4 guys on the floor around that can really hone in on him, knowing that if you hold Rob Edwards somehow to single digits, let's be clear, with these injuries that are out, Cairns aren't winning that game. How hard can you make him work for? I think every team's trying to do that with 5 guys.
He's going to be a big factor in this afternoon's game, Rob Edwards, particularly with who the Taipans don't have access to. A couple of big names from both teams not playing in this one this afternoon. Steph Baumgartl has got us covered courtside all afternoon long. Steph, a couple of big players not out there today.
Thanks, Jack. Great to be with you courtside this afternoon. As for the Cairns Taipans, we already know Taron Armstrong and Tanner Groves won't be playing, but they will be seriously understaffed this afternoon. Pedro Bradshaw was wearing a moon boot pre-match after picking up an ankle injury on Friday night, so safe to say he will not be playing. As for Melbourne United, Matthew Dellavedova is available to play. I spoke with Flynn Cameron pre-match. He confirmed he will be starting this afternoon as they ease Delhi back into the mix.
Great to have you with us this afternoon, Steph. Starting 5s for both teams as the fans rise as one at John Cain Arena. And as Steph reported, Flynn Cameron, in only his 3rd start of his career, will be out there again today. He was excellent on Thursday.
He was unbelievable. And again, this is what Dean Vickerman does. If you go out there and step into a lineup where somebody's out and you perform like that, he's going to reward you until everybody gets back healthy and they have a full roster.
And this starting lineup that we see for the Cairns Taipans, it's all about the 3-ball, and they're coming out all guns blazing with their starting lineup, particularly with Jonah Antonio getting the start. And, of course, Kieran Galloway, he's going to spread the floor with his 3-ball. Wardenberg can do it. So it's going to be a fun game from a Cairns Taipans standpoint.
Now 3 officials this afternoon. Nathan Durant, Nico Fernandez and Ken Widget. The Taipans looking to get it done again. They played here in round 3. It was the Snakes 101-88. In that one, off the back of a 35-point second quarter. And Golding drives and walks it into the lane for the opening points.
Good start. Again, everybody knew the play was going to have Chris Golding with the ball in his hands at some point. Look at Flynn Cameron right now, the physicality of Rob Edwards off the ball.
Here's Sam Wardenberg. Great pass for Jonah Antonio, who can't score. Cleaned up by Kieran Galloway, and they seat the home fans.
Well, it's just as good down the other end with the execution. A few little dribble handoffs. Good misdirection in the back cut. Love to see it.
Jonah Antonio missed that layup, has 3 scoreless games in a row coming into today. And Cameron feeling good. 31 minutes as a starter on Thursday, punched out 18-4 and 4.
And normally, these guys who are so desperate for opportunity gets a steal here.
They are going to have a pretty strong look at that foul from Rob Edwards, I'd imagine.
I think they went straight away. They've gone straight away to unsportsmanlike there. That's the right call. Just frustration there from Rob Edwards. And this started from the very first time down the floor. Flynn Cameron went and just started to hip check him a little bit off the ball. Had a few words to say after he knocked down that 3. Now, Rob Edwards just going down Adam Ford. Probably just saying, let's just reset here.
What was going through his head? There was no chance. I know he's trying to stop him, and that's probably what was going through his head, but you know you can't get away with that, and it's just penalising your team even further by giving 2 and possession. And for Cameron, with a unusual calming action.
I've never seen that before.
Just to settle the nerves, and
It's just a little gesture.
well, he's only shooting the 3-ball at in the high 20s, so to see that first one go down would be a big relief for him as well.
Clark, nice find underneath for Jack White. That battle with Wardenberg is going to have a big say on the result.
Well, it is, and again, Melbourne United, I mean, both teams, this is their second game of the round, but Adelaide, geez, they had to Cairns had to fight hard in Adelaide, went to overtime. They're already down, men down another one with no Bradshaw in this one.
And they've conceded 9 points in a minute and a half. As Kyle Adnam barely draws iron on that one.
And in fact, I don't think he did he? Did it hit the rim?
No rim?
No, it didn't look like it. Looked like it was blocked. And then the ricochet. Cairns worked their way back to get possession. Oh, dear.
A confirmation of 5 on the clock now. Galloway will have to turn and shoot off the inbound. Into the starting lineup this afternoon. Still no Tanner Groves, still no Taron Armstrong for Cairns. Armstrong potentially back next week. Cameron wide open. Ball still available. There's Cameron just doing all the 1%ers. Clark now spots up. 1 of 3 to start the game from beyond the arc, Melbourne. There's Galloway, a knockdown shooter, fouled. And again, Rob Lowe picking up an early foul.
What's the way they play defense, and their 2 best on-ball defenders are Matthew Dellavedova and Shea Illy. And even when you think that they're not going to be there, you think, oh, we might get a bit of a reprieve. But this is just really in the lanes. Everything's highly contested. And although that's a foul on Rob Lowe, I don't think they're that upset, because the intent is what Dean Vickham would love to see, and the aggressive nature of not conceding anything.
Well, you keep an eye on the matchup of Flynn Cameron and Rob Edwards as well. He is wearing Rob Edwards like a wetsuit. Right now, anywhere he goes, he's not just staying with him, but he's being ultra physical, really trying to set a tone. You don't think that Flynn Cameron's been desperate for an extended opportunity for some time. And again, I know Delhi's available, but they continue this little strong start. You think they might not risk him too much in this one.
Do you think he'll play at all, Matthew Dellavedova? Didn't play on Thursday, was a late out.
They kept that one on the wraps, didn't they? Well, I think it'll be the next couple of minutes will probably tell us. Still want to get some fitness into him.
Antonio with the job of trying to chase around Chris Golding.
Well, they do have the Sydney Kings coming to town on Thursday as well.
Well, and that's going to be a desperate Sydney Kings after dropping 2 this weekend.
Yeah,
So,
they're becoming a story, aren't they?
and no Jalen Adams, and the system at the Sydney Kings is breaking down a little.
Jumper from Golding rattles out. Rob Edwards with 2 fouls early in the game. He flies to the other end. And misses the layup. Did all of the hard work and couldn't finish off. Antonio shot that one from Burnley and couldn't count. Melbourne doing all of the early running, and Jack White steps into the 3 and makes it a 7-point lead.
Good hit from White. Shooting the 3 ball 30%. It's definitely something he's continuing trying to improve on. That's who his game is, a completely different player.
Edwards now with a mismatch. Assesses the clock, swings to Galloway, steps into his 3. It's not going early for Cairns. It's 0-4. Back up top to Golding. Quickly into the low block. Roblo had it, lost it. Just 5 points in 4 minutes, Cairns. Against the team who has the best defensive rating in the NBL. Edwards had it stolen away by Lowe. It's poetry in slow motion as the big man heads to the basket. A D from Wardenberg. Golding a little handoff for Lowe.
Well, the subs are about to come in because there hasn't been a whole lot of whistles. A couple of turnovers early from Rob Edwards as well. If Cairns aren't hitting 3s, they're not going to be able to put up enough points in this game. That's going to help. There's Antonio.
Big for his confidence, Jonah Antonio Drew, as we said here on the Amy replay. Before that, though, Jack White, who's shooting it at 30% this season, the 3 ball's getting better and better.
Well, again, the defense here, big fella goes up and misses one that he normally should make.
So Tangerine timeout. Melbourne United lead by 4. We spoke about Flynn Cameron and how good he's been off the back of Thursday night. Steph caught up with him pre-game.
Lost record. Does Cairns have a mental edge coming into this game against you guys?
Yeah, I'd say definitely they got a mental edge, but you know, we've done the work, we're prepared, and we'll just see how the game goes.
How do you limit the impact of Rob Edwards?
Firstly, get him back in transition. You know, he's a fast player, he's a physical player, so just getting our numbers back in transition and then making sure that their 3-pointers are covered.
24 years of age. He's doing, I guess you could call it an on-the-job apprenticeship, Pete, with Melbourne United, Flynn Cameron.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Again, with the contracts they have as Delhi subs into the game, and you look at, yes, they're getting older, but he's one who's just been sitting there grinding away, desperate for this extended opportunity. We see it all around the league. We see it with Ben Henshaw in Perth, Elijah Pepper. Yes, Bryce Cotton's out now. Well, what happened on Friday? They stepped into a starting lineup. Their leash becomes a little longer, and as soon as the opportunity presents itself, they're ready because they work so hard every single day, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Flynn Cameron.
Dellavedova into the game, as is Kyle Bowen. Cameron with the fumble, enough to still make it count. Nice possession out of the timeout for Melbourne. He continues to chase Rob Edwards around and make life difficult for him. Every time Rob Edwards looks up, Flynn Cameron's right there.
And that's how it's going to be. And that last time out that Dean Vickerman called is on the basis that Clearly, they've got a strategy. We don't want them to shoot the 3-ball. Let's just take the 3-ball away and live with some other stuff going on. And I think what we saw from the very first possession, when they get it side to side, run a back cut, because they are overplaying so much, those back cuts are on a lot more than they normally would. And I think that the Cairns Taipans have got to find that balance from shooting the 3-ball and playing for the 3-ball, and rather exposing, or trying to expose Melbourne United what they type of defence they're trying to play. That's a tough shot. Just simple one-on-one. He's just come in. He's been in the game 0 seconds, and he's going one-on-one
against one of the best defenders in the league. Dellavedova, little handoff to Golding. Puts the ball on the floor this time. Okay, Gak takes care of the rebound. Averaging a little under 6 boards a game. He's getting some premium opportunities this year, and he's making the most of them. Oh. Edwards blows past the defence. Did everything but score, and his frustrations continue to build. That Daly wraps it underneath.
Just how hard he has to work to get the ball. This is what happened at in the end of the 4th quarter and overtime against Adelaide. Adelaide, it was Kendrick Davis, just refused to let him get it. And if he had to get the ball, there was 9-8 seconds left on the shot clock, just like there was that last possession. And then he has to force something.
The lob was on for Lee. He kicks it back out for Flynn Cameron. United now 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. They shoot at 33% for the season, so not a great clip.
Well, stating the obvious, Jury, but this is just a team that you can just sense the absence of Taran Armstrong, and having that level-headed point guard where, one, we need a certain possession, let's slow it down, let's find someone, let's hit bodies on screens, that kind of leader by example, because they're a notoriously young and quiet team on the court as well.
Is this where you would play maybe Kyle Adnam for a few more minutes, Pete?
Well, I thought so, but based on Friday night, he's on a very short leash.
This take from Gak. Golding comes out, Jack White back in. There's Adam Ford, coach of the Cairns Taipans, who have lost 4 in a row.
Well, the bottom line is when you think of any team in the competition, and probably more profound with the Cairns Taipans, if you take 3 starters out of your lineup, you're going to feel the pinch. You look at the Sydney Kings right now, what they're doing, what they've got to deal with. You know, it's going to be interesting to see with Bryce how long he's going to be out for, what type of impact, although they had a very good win. But when you lose 3 of them, it takes a bit of time to adjust on how you're going to prioritise your talent and how you're going to get the best out of the group you've got.
Melbourne broke the press, but Lee misses a bunny.
He got away with the travel there too, Marcus Lee.
The push from Bowen. There's those long levers of Marcus Lee. Offensive rebound and puts it back in.
4th O-board now for United.
When they win the rebound count, they win the game, Melbourne. When they've lost the rebound count, they've lost their last 6. Waterberg trying to force it. Adam Ford thought there was a foul. Here's White. Second 3 of the first quarter.
Good there with confidence.
My word, he is, and just it's so hard for the Cairns Taipans to get this scoreboard ticking over. Every single possession it's challenged. And this is not an indictment on Sam Waterberg. In fact, it's a compliment that he's averaging a little over 3 assists a game, but he's leading the team in assists. And that's a personnel situation. Taran Armstrong, you know, he's going to be having the ball, be that creator guy, but you need more than that.
That's what Taran Armstrong will bring. Hopefully get him back next week.
Cody Statman's seen some early minutes.
But this is exactly what we're seeing right now, and this is Adam Ford, and he said it even when Tanner Groves went out. He's a key piece they recruited in the off-season to try and be on that. And Friday night is to bang against Montrezl Harrell and try and use your physicality.
Clark with the lob for Lee. He was challenged by Stife.
Didn't have to do it. Stife.
I reckon he made a pretty good effort at it.
I think Marcus Lee, I think he was going to dunk underneath the rim.
Timeout Cairns. A minute 57 to play in the opening term here at John Cain Arena. Rob Edwards, we spoke about his importance, not to this team throughout the season, but particularly today with some of the key absences that they have. And he caught up with Steph pre-game.
The last time you were here was the last time that you won here in Melbourne. Does it give you a mental edge coming into this match?
A little bit, but I mean, we know that they're a good team. You know, we down players, so I mean, it should be a dogfight between both of us. You know, they down a couple guys too, so best team win. You know.
He took them apart when they played in round 3, and Cairns won on that day. Pete had 23 points, and Melbourne couldn't stop him.
Yeah, it was different though. Again, we talk about the absence of Taran Armstrong. He was very good on a done ankle as well in that game. But right now, they're just going to struggle. They're already struggling at times to put points on the board, but you're coming up against a Melbourne United team which hold teams to the fewest points scored in the league. They've been exceptional defensively. You combine all of that together, and that's why we've got an 11-point early advantage.
Well, right now, the Cairns Taipans have only had 2 made field goals. They're 2 of 12 from the field, and they've burped it up 3 times. So it's not a good formula, but a lot of that, you give credit to Melbourne United. They are up and in, and I think collectively, they are the best defensive team in the competition. The data supports that, but just
by a long way.
The way in which they play, the aggressive nature, everything being contested, they know their rules on the on-ball, and everyone's connected. It's a very impressive defensive unit, and they're going to need it, because I think from time to time, Melbourne United will go through those patches where offensively they don't have some of the weapons of some of the other teams.
And this is exactly what they do when they know a team's down certain point guards. So Ian Clark, they fronted McCoy, got the ball out of his hands and made someone else who didn't want to bring it up have to deal with it.
Galloway denied. Marcus Lee with another block. Steph, you were listening to Dean Vickerman.
Yes, naturally, he's pretty happy with the start. I'll tell you what he liked the most, though. He's very happy with the defensive effort on Rob Edwards. He said he looks cooked. Let's keep that going.
That's how he's putting it politely. Well, they wait till you see Melbourne United score once again, how they just front, almost double team the leading point guard for Cairns, which is Jackson McCoy right now, and making someone else handle the rock.
Gack pulls up in the mid-range.
And what you're talking about, Pete, is other teams will try that, but they don't have their others that can get up the floor as well. But that time, Jack White was right in the grill of Dylan Stife, and there's no one else that can handle the ball.
It just looks like hard work at the moment for Cairns. No foul will be on Marcus Lee. Very quickly he picks up 2.
Let's have a look at if they do it again here.
Oh, they will be.
So see if they do. They kind of pack 40 where we've got AK Gack here trying to free him up. Now it's more of a just trying to lock in the half court. Clear.
Ian Clark, we talk so much about his shooting ability, also an outstanding defender. McCoy thought his way through that one. Gack, not the second time, 3rd time blocked, 4th time, can't score.
2 of 17 from the field.
The final minute of this first quarter. Cairns' shooting percentages are not great. They look to push the issue. Gack steps into the 3. Galloway. He can't make it count. Statman falling away.
Well, I know I'm old school, but there comes a time where you think back to how the game used to be played, where you've got these specialist three-point shooters, you've got the specialist guys on the box, and sure, you might get some versatility along the way. But Gack coming down, and in the first 5 seconds, spraying it up from the three-point line, That to me is a bad shot.
40 loves a 2-for-1. He always screams for somebody to catch and shoot, but I don't think it would be AK Gack in that.
That's exactly right. Dribble, hand off, do something else to get someone else a look. But I know he can make them. I'm not saying that he can't make him, but it's the context of...
With all of those misses, 2 of 21 they're going to go in at quarter time, with it looks like, from the field.
Well, he hasn't made one for the season yet, AK Gack, so might not have been the preferred option.
The form's not bad. You can tell that he can shoot it, but... Sick.
Clark got his man up in the air. White hustles after it. Still time for Melbourne. Hits the side of the backboard. McCoy can throw up a prayer. It has been hard work for the Snakes in the opening quarter. 2 of 21 from the field, just 9.5%. In fact, make that 9.1 after that last miss. It's 23-12, quarter time here on Sunday Hoops. They are a formidable defensive outfit, Melbourne United, and when they sink their teeth into an opposition, they bite down hard. They lead 23-12 at quarter time at John Cain Arena, but Pete Hooley and Andrew Gaze, the big story of the opening term is Cairns struggles at the offensive end.
Almightily, 9% from the field. Have a look at that, 12 points. 2 of 22. When you've got more turnovers than made field goals, Drewy, you're probably not going to be doing too well.
It's not a good outcome, is it? But you know, there are still some signs in the way in which they play. They missed a lot of shots they're normally going to make as well. So it's, I don't think their play is reflected in the 2 of 22. It's just that they're not able to finish some of their actions. And then when you switch and you've got Kyle Adnam on low, that is not a good formula.
Not when Kyle comes up to his belly button. Edwards now has Dellavedova for company. Hasn't scored in the first quarter. Adnam was fouled.
Clark didn't like it, but that was definitely a foul. And you know they're going to continue to compete. This is the message that Adam Ford sent to the group. You know that you're missing 3 starters. Everyone's got to go out there and play with confidence. Whether it's Cody Statman, John Antonio hit his first shot in a few games, understanding that he needs everybody to step up and play. It doesn't matter whether you have a mistake or 2 mistakes. You've got to continue to work through it and just keep plugging away.
Well, if you've gone 2 of 22 in a quarter, you look up at the scoreboard and at the quarter-time break, you're only trailing by 11, you're actually thinking, hey, we're not that bad, because we're not going to be 2 of 22 every quarter from here on out. So it's Melbourne United perhaps hadn't capitalised as much as they could have in that first quarter.
A catch a leer into the game, Pete, to start the
Well, they've
second
got
quarter.
Jack White playing the 3. So good job there. Floated from Ian Clark. He's hit a couple of threes. Dean Vickerman just trying to see how it looks.
Here's Gack rolling to the hoop. Tough finish over the top of low.
They've got a good little combination, AK Gack and Kyle Adnan. We've seen it a lot so far in this season.
Growing in stature. Here's a Calder Gack. That's too easy. That's far too easy.
Well, it's too easy on the ball, but it's also too easy off the ball. There was an exchange on the weak side, and they forgot their split line responsibilities. Have a look at your top of your screen. See the two guys there? They were way off and completely lost vision. Sure, you got to do a better job right here. Great pass, but no weak side help on the split line whatsoever.
And what you might have just seen in the very top of that picture was Adam Ford. He ran onto the court and called a timeout. I think one of the Taipans players are lucky he didn't grab them in a headlock coming out of that one as well. There's Nadia Bartel in the Reebok Influencer seats taking in Sunday hoops. A lot of Melbourne United fans in the house today. 29-16, Pete. How much of this can be attributed to lack of personnel versus lack of structure?
A lot of it. A lot of it is lack of personnel. This team, again, it's a small market team in Cairns. Adam Ford is not at the liberty where, hey, we lose our starting centre, Tanner Groves, for an extended period of time. Hey, is there another reigning NBA Sixth Man of the Year rolling around? I'm sure they'd love to have the services of Montrezl Harrell, but again, Tanner Groves, I think, has just been pushed back into a turn date every week for a little bit. They need him back, but Taron Armstrong's the one. This team is designed, he's the heart and soul, has the keys of it. And until then, he just needs everybody to try and lock in and play with as much confidence as they can. But confidence is one thing, but as you said, Drewy, Rob Edwards, that was his mistake. Kyle Adnan's locking and trailing like he has to on Ian Clark. Where's the team help defensively? Just because offense is struggling doesn't mean you just take your foot off the gas on the other end.
They concede 92 points a game, Cairns. They're the worst in the competition in that stat. And they're leaking a bit here.
A lot of that, too, is pace of play. They do play at well, they have been trying to play at a higher pace.
Do they play too quick at times?
Well, I think it's about finding the balance. Right now, I think they are, because you don't have the same level of talent with those three guys out. So trying to make it more of a grind can be beneficial. And like I said, to hold Melbourne United, 29 points so far is not terrible. It's just down this end, and right now things are starting to tick over for them.
Sam Wardenberg is having some sort of season for Cairns. Had a double-double on Friday night against Adelaide. Back-to-back double-doubles, and 3 for the season now.
He's been terrific, and again, the ups and downs last year, a lot of it was he was playing out of position. This year he was going to go back to the power forward spot, which is where he's been thriving. But then you throw in AK Gack having a finger popped out in Adelaide, and all of a sudden he's having to try and stop Harrell backing down. That's not where he's going to succeed.
Well, it's back to 10. It did get as high as 13, that deficit for Melbourne, for Cairns, I should say. Wow. Big rebound by White. Look at the athleticism. And roll that ball down to Marcus Lee in a low block. Nice work from Alir. Had to pick that up off his ankles. 31-19. Sunday hoops, if you have just joined us, the New Zealand Breakers winners in Sydney today. Jonah Antonio.
That's tough. Not an easy one. And that's what he's out there to do. That's his role. Be that microwave, usually off the bench. Is that a foot violation?
It looked like it might have caught a foot. Back inside single figures. Edwards makes it a 7-point game, and now Dean Vickerman wants a chat.
Yes, besides that shot from Antonio, the pace has slowed down a little bit. Even still, when they pushed it, Kyle Adnan pushed it on the make. slowed it down, got the ball through hands, and they get side to side. That's where they look much better, rather than forcing anything.
31-24. You can see Ian Clark there. He knows what it takes to win championships. He's done it at NBA level. And we caught up with him pre-season and spoke about what it takes for the ultimate success.
It's very hard to win a championship. I think one of the most disappointing things is not being able to take advantage of the opportunity that you have, because you never know if you're going to get back there. Me personally, coming in and being the first year, you know, this something that I wanted to, you know, tick off the boxes, came in and immediately, you know, win. I think that's the sour taste in all of our mouths. Obviously, we, you know, working hard to get back there, but it's no guarantees. There's a lot of good teams in this league, so it's going to be an interesting and fun season.
An NBA championship in 2017 with the Golden State Warriors, and in the NBL has won one with the Sydney Kings, Pete.
And again, another story of someone who's coming over from the NBA who just seems to find a home here in the NBL. Went from the Sydney Kings, then with half a year at Adelaide, and then second full season with Melbourne United. Was a big part of that championship year for Golden State as well. When you go back and read some of the things from Steve Kerr, what they spoke about Ian Clark, didn't play so much in the finals, but said how important he was throughout that. He said it, I think, to the championship parade as well. What a tremendous honour that would have been.
Not sure what Adam Ford said there, but he received a behaviour warning out of the timeout. United 3 of 10 from outside. Taipans have had a good couple of minutes in this second term. Adnam running the point, still a long way from the basket. Trying to shake Ian Clark. Brilliant defensive pressure.
Yes, he went into the tall timber and lost control. He doesn't like it, thought he got fouled. Might have been a little grab of the jersey early on, and he got his arms ripped off. He has every reason to be a little upset.
Adam Ford wasn't happy either, for good reason.
Dellavedova, just the 2 points for the game. He's got this amazing ability to know exactly where Marcus Lee is at all times. 6 points now to go with 4 rebounds for Lee. A little steadier, nice pass. Adnam found Edwards on the move. He'll be kicking himself that he's missed another one from close range.
Yeah, he's missed a couple.
It's another example, though, of when you just continually getting worn down. So they are wearing Rob Edwards everywhere. So even the simple becomes rushed because you're thinking, am I going to get another opportunity? I've got to deal with his pressure every single possession. That's a shot that he'd make 9 times out of 10.
Just 2 points on 1 of 4 to the Cairns star. Dellavedova. Look good.
See the short spurts that Delhi's playing in this game. He's played 8 minutes now. Just trying to continue to build him back up after that ankle injury.
It's a luxury, isn't it, to be able to do that? Adnam, the lob for Gaff. Well, Marcus Lee now finds himself with 3 fouls.
Dean Vickman having a quick look behind. The Amy replay shows the little push there. Well,
was it? A push on who?
Well, I think they called it on. Well, I had to call it on Jack White, surely, because Marcus Lee did absolutely nothing there.
He has gone to Jack Lee to Jack White that foul. Jack Lee and Marcus White. What you won't get is those mix-up of names on the NBL app, because all the information there, Halls, is spot on. It's what you need.
Absolutely. QR code, Drew, you know how that works?
My word. Get the camera out, whack it up, and just stuff popping up on your screen, and you just start clicking and hope that you haven't been scammed.
You still get scammed, or they'll knock you 33-15?
Oh, those overseas investment bankers, they can see you coming from a mile away.
Well, I had a bad experience last week, but
Marketplace?
some people went shopping on my credit card.
Oh, dear. Be a good one to get to. Goldie walks the tightrope of halfway. Shot clock at 9 here for Dellavedova. Lee with a bullet underneath for Bowen.
Not going to count. It was on the first attempt on the wrist. So he's going to go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
That's the third foul for Rob Edwards. So he had 2 in the first quarter. And he said, I'm going to stay out there. Rob Edwards asked Adam Ford if he's going to challenge it. He said he's got no timeouts left, so he can't. And to be honest, there was contact anyway.
Yes. It looked like it.
Fordy burnt his challenge on Friday night. He would have wanted that one back because there was a big block by Stice later in the game that he couldn't go and challenge.
Rob Edwards has to sit down. You would think for the remainder of this first half. It's been a frustrating one for him. Hasn't found the going as easy as the round 3 contest. Cameron scores!
He's putting on a show. He's knocking down the 3 ball. And spent a lot of time after starting the game. Spent the next 9 minutes, thereabouts 8 minutes on the bench. And comes back in and picks up where he left off.
Here's the subs from now. Again, so Adam Ford just talking to Galloway. Everything else that's out of their control, the one thing you can not do is give up an offensive rebound on a free throw. You can control how hard you box out, and that's what Adam Ford's doing right now, is saying the things we can control, we need to be better at. Those effort plays, the physicality. Our shots will drop, but if you don't want to box out, you're going to come and have a seat.
So Alex Higgins-Titcher, who's a development player, has played just the 1 game against Sydney a couple of weeks ago, had 4 points, 4 rebounds and 4 blocks on debut. Gets his first minutes.
He'll get after it too. He's not going to back away. Really good athlete. Can play around the rim. And he blocked. Was that a block?
Well, he couldn't close the lid.
That's a block from the rim.
Wardenberg for 3 in transition. 2 of 9 from long-range Cairns. They're the #1 team in the competition for 3-point makes. They had it raining on Friday night. Nice pass from Golding inside.
Great D from Higgins-Titcher there.
Wardenberg had the seal. Thought he was fouled as well, and he might have a case.
And what about the entry pass too? He's a rookie. Second performance game, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. I was waiting for you to have a crack at the name.
Well, I coached him for a year, so I know him really well.
And that probably still means nothing for what I wanted from you.
So, no, we'll just like to... I know him as Alex, and that's what I'm rolling with. No, he's a guy that's stuck at it, and he's getting some rewards now with an opportunity. And the energy that he's brought so far has been good.
24 years of age. There he is. Stripped of it.
Only quick minutes from him, but good energy.
Tell him.
Wardenberg comes out. Rob Lowe sits down as well. So Cameron, Krebs, Bowen, Lee and Golding out there for Melbourne. Stife, McCoy, Higgins-Titcher, Statman. And also Galloway for Cairns. Golding just tucked that ball under the arm, kept it safe and lays it up.
Well, that's twice. Now he had one early in the game. Playing him so tight and so concerned about what you're going to do on the on-ball screens. Open up that laneway for him.
Rebound from Higgins-Titcher. Shot clock at 4. McCoy with the lob, and the youngster went and found it.
Showing some really good signs here. As you said, Drew, he's going to play hard.
Well, what
he's doing that just now.
What he's got is a good instinct for the ball. And that's in the rebound. When you're playing off the ball, he can get to the rim, he gets in the right spots. That's tough.
Can't do much about that. He's hit his last couple of shots now, which normally means there's 2 minutes left in the quarter. You get at least 3 or 4 more up. Well, put this game to bed by half.
Cody Statman didn't do a lot wrong there. Just hard to stop one of the best shooters in the league. Stipe bombs away.
2 of 10, 8 of 33 from the field. Could be close to a heat check.
Golding this time shares. Bowen likewise. Slick ball movement here from the home team. White baseline. And they get another look at it.
Yeah, when you're playing catch-up and you're up against it, it's those hustle plays. They need to go in your favour. You've got to be able to knock down shots, and they're coming up short in both areas. 8 of 33. Now, they've only taken the 10 threes, primarily because the defence of Melbourne United has taken away a lot of their looks. That is a very tough shot. Fading away behind the backboard.
Told you it was coming. He's probably not done yet in the next 90 seconds.
Antonio
normally on one of these,
at the other end.
Normally he slows down and he tries to get a trail 3 ball.
Here he comes. Behind the back for White. It's a 23-point lead with a minute to go in the first half.
Well, they're 6 of 13 from the field. Yeah, they haven't caught many breaks, no. Cairns Taipans. Sometimes their defence been pretty good, but Melbourne United have been able to make some tough shots, and down the other end have not been able to find that consistent groove on the offense. Only made 8 field goals in almost a half of basketball, and it is impossible. Not, oh, we've got a chance. Impossible to win a game at this level, shooting 23% from the field. Cannot be done.
It's a 12-3 run Melbourne's way.
Doesn't take long. They've got weapons everywhere. They've got a 2-for-1 opportunity here if they really wanted to put this game.
Higgins-Titcher guarding Jack White. Managed to get the ball out of his hands. Golding, again, attracted all the attention. He's just playing with them right now.
Sure are. Again, it's great unselfishness from United. This is where Adam Ford, talk about it, Drewy. The struggles, how hard it is just to get a good, clean look. They've missed a few easy ones. He's also got to start to be thinking about going forward. Well, Sam Wardenberg came into this game a little banged up from Friday night as well in the overtime game. Had to play a whole lot of minutes. They're expecting, hoping Taran Armstrong's back for next week. What they didn't want this week was another injury. They got that with Bradshaw, and there's Shea Ely. He's hopefully expected back. It's good to see him here. I believe his wife's very close to welcoming a 3rd child.
But what we are seeing is the emergence of Flynn Cameron. When he's only playing bits and pieces, minutes, when he's had a consistent run of it. The evidence so far in this one is he's at both ends of the floor, well and truly up to it.
Half-time could not come quick enough for Cairns. Antonio with a full head of steam. Cairns ball. Tom Coppin's out there for some first half minutes.
Yeah, I think you expect there's going to be a few heavy rotations on both teams in the second half. Just say Cairns going to come out firing to start the 3rd.
The score won't count. Antonio pull his foot on the line.
Got a very rare situation. Now, I know there's a couple of New Zealanders out there, but it's very rare that you'll see in an NBL game of basketball where there's no Americans on the floor. So that speaks volumes for the talent that's coming through.
Keep an eye on this little Spanish action in the half.
Cameron can't score. Jack White is always present when the ball hits the rim.
Quietly going about his business. 8 boards in the first half, 4 of them on the offensive end. Those are the little effort plays that Adam Ford will be highlighting at halftime. He'll say very rarely they're going to have another half where they only make 8 field goals. But what they can control is getting a body when a shot goes up.
Just confirming that.
Not going to make a whole lot of difference.
No.
I wouldn't have thought, but
It's not going to change the world.
definitely need to get it right. Oh, dear. That was well short. I thought
That's a shank.
just didn't have the smoothness in the stroke.
Has been from outside. 3 of 3 for Jack White. Big first half.
It's all about tempo with his free throw. Both of them short, missed him exactly the same way.
Oh, Carl Adnam.
That's going to count.
Bombs away, it's not going to count. They'll have a look to check. Even that can't draw a smile from the Cairns Taipans. It has been a very difficult first half.
No basket.
No basket. Here's a look at it one more time, Halls.
Have a look at that.
Plenty.
Well, it's only 1.4. You can't rebound it, pass it, take a step. That seemed like a long time, but nice mate.
It's Melbourne United well and truly in control. Let's get over to Steph.
Thanks, Jack. We've got Jack White with me. Well, you're well and truly up at halftime. You've had an epic first half yourself. What are you liking so far?
I mean, we're running them off the three-point line. I mean, apart from that, you know, that was a highlight for us. These guys are coming in with great energy each time they play this year. So we're just trying to defend our home court and keep growing as a team.
What will the message be from Dean Bickerman to keep this momentum going for the next 40?
Yeah, just tighten things up, like some of our communication, like keeping them off the glass. Had a few possessions where they got like 3 or 4 boards in one possession. We just got to clean stuff up, finish plays. Like, I got to make those free throws there. Plenty of stuff to be better at, but, you know, we're in a fortunate spot.
Good luck.
All business from Melbourne in the first half in this one. 54-30 they lead. It's a pleasant Sunday here at John Cain Arena in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's a 31-18 quarter in Melbourne's favour, and they lead by 24 points at halftime. That's live inside the Melbourne rooms right now, and we thank them for their access across the afternoon. I think they'd have a lot to be happy about, Pete Hooley and Andrew Gates.
You heard Jack White. At the start, they wanted to run them off the three-point line. They saw them hit 11 threes in the first half against Adelaide. They said, that's not happening on our watch. 2 of 11 for Cairns in the first half, just 30 points. How hard they had to work for every single bucket is why we have a 24-point margin at halftime.
Sorry, but in contrast, you look at those numbers down the other end, they've been pretty efficient. 6 of 13 from the three-point line, particularly Jack White knock him down. Flynn Cameron comes in and does his thing. There's a lot of problems that Cairns need to solve at the halftime break.
Hungry Jack's highlights, and they revolve around Jack White, Pete.
Been enormous, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 on the offensive end, and besides his 2 free throws, he's been terrific shooting the ball. 3 of 3 from outside. So much so that Dean Vickman put him on the wing. So let's see how this looks in some unique matchups around the league, and I would suspect we'll start to see some funky lineups from both teams, but especially United in the second half.
Here's his Blackmore shot chart. His shooting stroke is getting better all the time, Drew. It's certainly better than the last time we saw him in the league.
Well, it is, and in the preseason, he looks super aggressive from the three-point line, and you can see with his Blackmore shot chart that he's perfect from the land of plenty, but it's still not quite where it needs to be. It's a work in progress, and he seems to really dedicate himself to it, but that athleticism and explosiveness that he can bring around the rim is certainly, he doesn't want to sacrifice that just to go out there and be a three-point shooter.
We're seeing the emergence of one of the best young prospects in Australian and New Zealand basketball today again, Pete. Flynn Cameron started on Thursday against Illawarra, was monumental in that win. Starting again today, he just looks full of confidence.
Yeah, 10 points, 5 rebounds, and again, the scoring's not what's going to get him in the rotation and playing more minutes. It's defensive hustle, plays like this, being first on the ground, being an absolute pest defensively. That's what cracks into the circle of trust from Dean Vickman. And the hardest thing for Flynn Cameron right now is he's going to somehow do that where Delic and Shea Ili are already cemented in there, but he can do nothing more than what he's done last game and in this game with the extra opportunity.
His plus-minus is plus 21 in the first half.
Well, and there's not too many going to be in the negative for Melbourne United the way in which they've played, but I think that with Flynn Cameron, just the slow progressions and the patience that he's shown playing behind a couple of legends and superstars, and you throw Ian Clark in there as well, but he's versatile and he's got a really, really bright future.
It's been a frustrating first half for Cairns star Rob Edwards. Has 2 points on 1 of 4, 2 turnovers and 3 fouls.
Well, this was the one that kind of, you thought maybe his head just wasn't quite in it. That was within the first 2 minutes of the game. A frustration, hacked down an unsportsmanlike foul. That wasn't over the back when there was a mismatch. He's just missed a couple of these at the rim. Really, really tough going, and we spoke about it as well with all the key people they're missing. If Rob Edwards can't put up 20 plus, has to work really hard just to get a good look, Cairns are going to struggle to put a competitive score on the board, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
So Melbourne in action this afternoon. It's a quick turnaround for them. They'll be back on their home floor on Thursday night. They host the Sydney Kings to start round 7.
Yes.
This game has become, well, it's big anytime these two get together, but off the back of what's happening with the Sydney Kings, it's massive.
It is. The Sydney Kings going through a tough spell. Without that man on your screen, they desperately need him back. But you know, the way Brian Gorge and gears his team up, you never write them off, but they've got some work to do as well. They defensively okay, but for me, watching the Sydney Kings, just trying to find their rotations, I don't think they're quite settled. I don't think actually Brian Gorge knows what he's going to do in certain circumstances. He's still learning about the players, how he gets the best out of Cam Oliver. They've still got a lot of questions that are unanswered at this point in the season.
Looking forward to seeing how you guys break this one down on overtime on Tuesday night. Then Friday night, Hools, the JJs and the Phoenix.
Again, Tassie coming up with a big win. Scott Ross said we might not be able to score the ball, but we're going to do our best to not let you score the ball. That's exactly what they showed against Brisbane.
And then straight after that, it's the Perth Wildcats taking on the Illawarra Hawks, who are flying high right now. They lead the competition, and they'll be watching this game with interest. It's 54-30, half-time at John Cain Arena on Sunday Hoops. Thanks for being with us on Sunday Hoops. There's some of the Australian Opal stars in the box. There's Magpagor, Mr. Wallace, Tess Madgen, recently retired, sitting in the back row as well. Danny Minogue never misses a Melbourne United game. They'd all be pretty happy with what they're seeing. And where are all the ice creams? Everyone else has got ice creams in this place.
Oh, if anyone's going to find one down here, it's Andrew Gaze.
No, the sugars are a little high.
Where are
on
the ice creams?
The sugar was a little high on the last blood results, so we're trying to stay off that stuff as much as I possibly can.
Certainly weren't pre-game.
That was
moderation, in moderation.
The non-sugar variety.
You don't even believe what came out of your mouth then.
Tasty.
First 5 minutes, Pete. In fact, break this down. First 2 minutes for Cairns.
Well, I think it's going to tell us exactly what we'll see in the second half. If this continues to go the way it did in the first 20 minutes, I expect we might even see Rob Edwards and Sam Wardenberg just sit. I think they can't afford any more late-game injuries. If this game gets out of hand and a turnover here does not start well.
Gee whiz.
But I also, with the frustration of Rob Edwards, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a foul early on from him, and that'll be his fourth.
There are some teams that have had some serious problems inbounding the basketball this year.
In big moments too.
That is a disastrous start for Cairns. Luckily, it didn't cost them. 7 turnovers in the game. Here's Edwards trying to get himself going.
We only had 4 shots, and that was his 5th. He's 1 of 4 before that, and I think there's got to be more concerted effort. Although they're playing that defense that's denying him a lot of touches, they need to help him out a little bit more.
His hands from Wardenberg. Kept it alive for Edwards.
One of those games for Rob Edwards. And again, Drew, this is normally what happens when you have to just fight so hard just to get a clean look. By the time you actually get an open one, feels weird.
We start thinking about it. The stuff that normally happens instinctively, you start concentrating a little bit too much. It doesn't happen naturally because you know you've been starved of opportunities.
Push from Gak, who's 1 of 7, 1 of 8 now, in fact, from the field. His shooting percentage for Cairns is not getting any better. Nice find from Clark. White shooting the lights out.
Izzy White, 4 of 4 from outside. He's got his double-double on the night. 16 and 10 for Jack White already.
It is a 27-point lead early in the third quarter. Things have not improved at the start of the third for the visitors. Cameron makes it a 30-point margin.
What Rob Edwards can't do is let his troubles down one end, hurt him down the other. Now, yes, he had to offer some help, but that was a really soft closeout on a guy that's shooting the 3-ball well in the first half as Kyle Anderson comes down with a mid-ranger. But this is where, when things are going horrifically bad on the offensive end, 9 of 40, it's not working. You've got to try and match that and counter it with just over-aggressive level of defensive pressure, and we are not seeing it from the Cairns Taipans. Simple handoff, and we're not up on the screens. Golding comes in and knocks down a wide-open 3-ball.
This is what we saw in the first half, Drewy. 40 was holding everyone accountable. Just because the shots weren't dropping, you can't allow this to happen down the other end.
Kyle Adnam, his frustration's boiling over. Adam Ford calls a timeout, and as he signaled to the scorer's table, it was a look of resignation on his face.
Well, it might have been a pretty quick trigger.
Stand-up timeout here from Adam Ford. And again, I would say that has nothing to do with the execution side of things in terms of trying to score the ball, but just the self-discipline stuff.
Yeah, it's getting really messy, and I think that he's seen and observed what we've seen on the defensive end, where your morale's shot and you're not playing with the energy and effort that's required. Okay, we might have some problems and they're pretty hard to solve on the fly on the offensive end, but that should not take away from your effort on the defensive end. In fact, it should be a recognition that you've got to go even over the top with your aggression, test the limits of the officials, be up and in, and just be miserable to play against on the defensive end.
Very rare for Kyle Adams to get a technical foul as well.
That's not, I mean, I don't know exactly what he said, but that's one you can let go.
I think that's what he went up to Kenwood and said, look, I apologise, but come on. And I struggle to think that it would have been anything too much. Yes, the frustration's there, but even when he's frustrated, he's not a player who's going to just give an absolute spray. It's incredibly out of character.
It wasn't demonstrative. The only one that would have known is those two.
And this is what we talked a bit about, the technical foul late on Thursday. Is just understanding, I think, the situation. You see how frustrated these Cairns players are right now. The emotion side of it, of course, it's going to be a little heightened in that instance. I think we can just have a better understanding of that, and maybe, as you said, we move on from that. And then, now, again, if it happens again, absolutely. But
back in the day, Eddie Crouch and the crew, they'd just come up to you and give it back to you as hard as you possibly could and say, if I hear it again, you're going to wear one. But they would let you no doubt of what they think about some of the way you're playing.
Well short from Cameron.
This going up.
From deep. It's good.
Again, the closeout wasn't there. There's a hand up, and I know he's shooting it from Swan Street, but still.
What do you know about Swan Street?
Swan Street out the front here.
Here we go, next one. Back 40, hold the shirt.
So the way this is going, I think you see Chris Golding get a little bit more aggressive in the next couple of minutes. Here's the Amy replay.
Now look at Wardenberg here. There's not even a hand up. The's not even that rush. Try and run him off the three-point line. It's like, oh, well, we'll just see how we go.
Again, normally once he's hit one, he's trying to get a heat check. He just copped one right to the knee as well on that.
Yeah, he's had a tough week, Chris Golding. Superstar on the floor, but copped a bit of heat off the floor. And I think on this particular example, a little unfairly.
You're talking about Thursday night?
Yeah. We know he's a flopper. He would go back and look and say, yeah, I'll probably put a little bit of mayo on it. I don't think he flopped on it. He almost dislocated his ankle and his knee.
I'm with you there. Good hands there from Marcus Lee.
Backs that one away, Wardenberg. In the mid-range. That's out. 12 rebounds for Jack White to go with his 16 points.
Straight up. On white.
And his pass knocked off. Good hustle from Adnam. The lob for Wardenberg.
Nice.
Something for Cairns to smile about.
Well, they need it. Again, Forty's not losing his cool on the sideline. That stand-up timeout, he wasn't giving a big mouthful. I think a lot of it was. Let's just lift our intensity and things we can control. Another rebound for Jack White. They can control their effort plays.
A miss at one end, and then another bomb from Clark at the other.
That's a miscommunication. Rob Edwards too worried about the rim runner, where you've got to stop the ball first.
Well, they're putting on a clinic. 50% from the three-point line, 11 and 22.
Want to have a conversation? The basket went in. Score the basket. Blue 14. Push. One shot.
Rob Lowe back in. Jack White will sit down. Considering they've got a game on Thursday, Pete, against Sydney, and then they host New Zealand on Melbourne Cup Eve on the Monday night. So 2 games next round. Will they be a little conservative with their stars, do you think?
I think so.
Rest of this game?
Again, depending on what happens here, you either see some of the starters come back in this third quarter, or just to start the fourth before they sit down. And they've got young guys again on the bench who want that extra opportunity. Tanner Krebs, haven't seen a heap of. We saw Tom Coppins very briefly in the first. We've seen Foxwell at times. Pulled the net, but did this have a chance to go in?
Well, how can you ask? Whenever you see the rim being moved,
it was a big grab.
Now, there's no chance of that going in, but you can't be Nostradamus and think about what possibly could have happened and predict it. If you hit the rim and the rim starts shaking around and the ball's still up there somewhere near it, it's always going to be 2.
Kyle Bowen
But these are
trying to make every second count.
These are the effort plays that Adam Ford's talking about. He's clapping on the sideline, trying to rev up his troops. It's not about making sure every shot hits the bottom of the net right now. It's these little controllables, the effort plays. Why is a team that's up nearly 40 out hustling us? We've got to be desperate.
Clark repeats the dose. Back-to-back threes. This is getting out of hand. If it hasn't already. And if it's not Flynn Cameron, it's Dellavedova doing a job on Edwards. It's finished from Statman.
And let's not forget, when in the competitions we're expecting it to be really tight for positions, and if you're Melbourne United in that vying for that top 2, percentages are going to come into it. So for them, this could be a real healthy boost.
Well, they're the team that you remember a couple of years ago. That single bucket, 2 points, separated them and a play-in berth. They've got history proves for them how important every single bucket is.
It is, and certainly you look at the way Dean Vickerman responded. You didn't see it on camera, but to a play when you're up 36 or whatever it is, 35 now, and you didn't see the scoreboard and you see him reacting. He's of that same mindset of every single possession. He's going to continue to coach it like it's a tight ball game, and every point matters.
As we see guys start to roll through in some rotations, and it was a cool moment. I think it was yesterday in the Knicks when they were playing. Miles McBride, when Ariel Hook-Porty got in for a few minutes, the former Melbourne United next star, and he was mic'd up and saying, these are the moments that Coach Tibbs looks for to build trust. Do not slack off, and that's exactly what both the coaches are going to look for now towards the end of this game. Forget the score, you go out there and play the right way, so that if the opportunity comes further down the track in this season, both Dean and Adam Ford will trust you to throw you out there.
Yeah, and right now, Campbell Blogg, Joel Foxwell, Tom Coppins, they need to be stretching. They know that they're going to potentially get some good burn, some quality minutes. And if they come out there and they sit, and Dean Vickerman sees that lead, starts to be reduced by any significant margin, as we mentioned, the percentages will matter, and it erodes an opportunity. And it's not easy in these circumstances. It is not easy when you've been sitting there and you're thrown into a situation where the result is over, to come in and get these opportunities.
Just a reminder that Cairns have won 6 of the last 7 between these two teams coming into today. Wardenberg picks it off. Bowen again doing 1% things that count.
Here we go, next play.
He's always going to do that, just the way he's wired. 2 of 13 from 3 for Melbourne United. From Cairns Taipans, Melbourne just holding them at bay from the three-point line. And as happy as Dean Vickerman would be, they've only hit 2 threes. The fact they've only attempted 13 and nearly all of them have been heavily contested is what he'll be most happy about.
Blocked by Galloway. Edwards, a rare opportunity to get some space.
Shoots it at 44% from outside.
And right now, that's probably his best opportunity he's had all night in transition. And pulls the trigger early.
Back down to Rob Lowe.
Lowe got away with the ball.
Yeah, that was a chicken wing. That normally gets called all the time.
Adam Ford, I would say if there was a couple of points the difference, he would have argued that last call a little more vehemently, but happy to walk past that one. 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's Melbourne by 35. Bowen eventually Gets himself on the line.
One thing Rob Edwards has got to be also a little cautious of is about going out there and saying, well, these are the circumstances, I'm just going to try and get mine. Now, it doesn't seem like that's the sort of guy he is as he gets checked out of the game. But trying to play, and it's the hardest thing in these circumstances. I'm sure Adam Ford in the timeout saying, hey, we've got to forget the scoreboard, play as if it's tied up. Now, that's easier said than done and almost impossible to do, but that's got to be the objective. You've got to come down, execute your way through things, and continue to work on your systems that can help you in games that are coming up. You don't want to just make this junk time and go out there and express yourself and show some sort of individual flair. You need to do that within the confines of the system that you're trying to build.
You're starting to have a look at the biggest margins between these two teams. You can check it all out on NBL Plus. Just having a little scan before of some of the biggest deficits between them. Statman. There's another who will be trying to make the most of this opportunity at the back end of the game.
Yeah, and it's not only just for earning more minutes in this season, right? Every other player wants other coaches and other teams to see you're ready for opportunities. Delhi knocked out his second 3-ball. He's just been ticking the legs over in this game, Delhi. 13 minutes, got 8 points now, a couple of assists, building up some game conditioning.
Well, you say ticking the legs over, that's in the total minutes, but when he's out there, he's played as hard as you'd normally expect him to play. He knows no other way. And on the defensive end, he still keeps going at it.
You've just seen in the top of screen there, Dean Vickerman through the hands on the head. He's coaching every play.
Well, Casey talks about Delhi only knowing one way. Same with Dino. He knows one way, doesn't matter what the score is, who's playing.
Good look for Galloway. He's 1 of 6 for the game. He's a better shooter than that, shooting at 59, 55, 80. Is his shooting clip for the season.
We've got relative small ball for the Cairns Taipans right now. In fact, both teams going into some of the more small lineups. Oh, that's tough. For a lefty in that left-hand corner behind the backboard.
40 screaming for a 2-for-1 again.
Be happy with that.
And normally when you get a 2-for-1 situation, normally the 2 part of it is not the best shot.
Right. Yeah, some of the 2-for-1s they take, it's completely pointless. Real low percentage now, that wasn't.
Gave him the thumbs up, Adam Ford. You like what he saw there from Sam Waterberg. And Krebs with the shot clock in single figures. Possession arrow with Melbourne. 7 seconds remain on the shot clock. That's an easy look for Krebs off the inbound. Shot clock switched off here. The Taipans look to finish the quarter with something to take away. McCoy up and under. It's a 35-point lead for Melbourne United. 3/4 time here at John Cain Arena. This is Sunday Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Melbourne continue their dominance this afternoon over Cairns. It's 84-49 at three-quarter time. United have knocked down 13 threes for the game. Meanwhile for Cairns, just 4.
It is, and you feel a little sorry for Cairns because they just don't have the depth of talent out there, and they're on the road after a real inspiring performance against the Adelaide 36ers where they come up short on Friday.
Had every opportunity to win that game. 11 threes in the first half, but lack of composure down the stretch. Again, highlighted by their absence of Taran Armstrong.
In overtime that game as well, so perhaps their energy's a little low. Oh, nice set coming out of the three-quarter time break. In fact, a beautiful set. Well executed.
40 echoes your sentiments there, Drewy.
If you're Cairns, you're just looking for little wins like that, little moments in this fourth quarter where you draw something up and it works.
Yeah, and in fact, you sort of ask yourself, well, the very first play of the game, it went to 3 sides and they get a backdoor cut. Looked really nice, a set like that. And perhaps a little bit more of that rather than just the swing it, zoom action, dribble handoff, on-ball screen. Go through a bit more of a process and work off the ball a little bit more might be helpful.
Ketchalier misses both. That's 11 offensive rebounds for the day for Melbourne. Cairns.
I got it.
Rob Edwards and Flynn Cameron
Not necessary.
get caught up again. And that will be the end of Rob Edwards. That's 5 fouls on an afternoon to forget for Cairns Star.
And it's not necessary. He's frustrated. And just a tough night at the office for Edwards.
And he's one who is just desperate for everyone else to come back and help out, because you asked about it off the top, Jack. All the defenders are just going at him and trying to rough him up physically, knowing that, do they have enough outside of that currently to put enough points on the board? No, that's just as simple as it gets.
Edwards done. Tanner Groves, Taran Armstrong, Pedro Bradshaw, all not playing with injury. This could get very nasty for Cairns.
It's already nasty.
Yeah.
It could get real horrifically, what's worse than nasty.
Well, we're not allowed to say it. It's a family show.
On his arm. 2 shots. 2. Ball up was good, but then you hit him on the arm.
Is the explanation from Cam Widget?
Very nice. Extra $1,000 on your Visa card for a vehicle.
Oh, that would involve you buying one.
Absolutely.
How is yours going? Because I'm in the market to actually get one myself and do it the old-fashioned way of, what's the old-fashioned way, Jack?
Well, you purchased
That's the one.
Up test driving the beautiful Pajero Sports.
Did not know they offered 3-year test drives.
No, I only had it for a very short period of time, but it's it goes very nice.
Are you just hanging on to it because you're just not quite sure? Like, you just
Got to check it out. There's that many features. I just haven't been able to get through them all.
Great partners of the NBL, Mitsubishi Motors. This block from a Ketchalier. They're so deep, Melbourne. This lineup that they're running with right now is still making things happen.
Yeah, they're just playing hard. They're playing hard the entire game. They're not looking at the score either. Everyone's hungry to compete. Just wondering if your test drive came with the chauffeur, or do you have to that separately?
No, I wouldn't do that. I love driving. Not very good, but I love it.
You've been doing it a while. I thought
Yeah.
by now you might have worked it out.
According to the passengers that I take, they don't get glowing reports. But this is a real issue for Cairns, of which there are many, but the ease in which of the penetration. And you can, okay, the game's over and you can offer some excuses, but you've got to knuckle down. If you're going to make some improvements, it's how you take away this penetration, the ability to get so deep into the paint without the recognition of the help. And I know you look at the, they'll be going, well, hang on, they're 13 of 25. How much help can we give? But you look at the Cairns Taipans and their next run of games, there are no easy ones. But without 3 starts.
Well, I think there's going to be an MRI for Bradshaw when they get back in Cairns. And hopefully that's just a really bad rolled ankle and doesn't miss too much time at all. I know they're close to expecting Taran back. I think Tanner Groves is still a few games away. Look at the hustle from Bowen.
John Foxwell getting his first opportunity. Got some minutes against his brother last Sunday in the throwdown. He's out there guarding Kyle Adnam alongside Alir, Cameron, Krebs and Bowen. Cairns, Stipe, Adnam, Antonio, Galloway and Statman.
That defensive transition, that's a couple of times Kyle Adnam, he's first back and he's had to catch the big. And that's not ideal.
Timeout Taipans. It's 88-52 on Sunday Hoops. $7:40 remaining at John Cain Arena in this Tangerine timeout halls. It's really going to be an under-25s game for the remainder of this one, I'd say.
Sure is. Both teams want to just get through unscathed now from here on out. Just give the young guys a chance to just get some confidence about it. And it's a great opportunity, right? Because you practice against each other. Guys like Joel Foxwell, Coppins if he gets in, Campbell Blogg, but even on the other side, Statman, Higgins, Titcher. All you do is practice against some elite talent on your own team day in and day out. Now you actually get to go and play against somebody else and show your coach that everything I'm working on is helping me improve as a player, that when I'm ready, you give me the extended opportunity, I'll take it.
Let's go! Hey! Hey! Let's go!
88-52. Melbourne United have been in control all afternoon long at John Cain Arena. And Kyle Bowen will be on the line. He's shooting free throws.
Joel Foxwell comes in, gets some minutes, and Dean Bickerman has had great confidence in him already, or shown great confidence. He's come in early in some of the contests with Shea Illy being out and Matty Dellavedova not there, and kind of a late appearance for him in this one, but he's another one that needs to make the most of these types of minutes, continue to grow.
Statman fine still on Stipe. 4 of 18 from beyond the arc today for Cairns, who are the second best three-point shooting team by percentage coming into today.
Well, average 11, a little over 11 makes from the three-point line per game. But their struggles tonight is not just about their personnel. Yes, the personnel is a big part of it, but it's just the defense. The way Melbourne United clearly come in with a plan and said, you are not going to beat us from the three-point line. If you can beat us somewhere else, well, good luck to you, but we're taking that away from you.
And that's normally when a team is down on key guys, you talk about how do you keep in games and how do you potentially cause an upset. It's from the three-point line. They understand that. They saw what Cairns did on Friday as Kyle Adnam fails out now to join Rob Edwards.
I might have to check the record. I doubt very much that Kyle Adnam's ever fouled out of the game ever.
Why you do that? Speaking of record books, the massive game before this, the Breakers against the Kings. Karim Lopez, just the 4th ever next star to record at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks in a game.
Wow.
Liam.
And the other 3 are Alex Sarr, Hook Porty, and Bobby Klintman, who are all NBA players now. So
Liam Santa Maria has had just a beautiful weekend.
Hasn't he?
With some of his boys.
Almanza.
And I'm sure that he's probably texted you that data. Was it Liam that just...
I continuously like to remind him of how great his eye for talent is.
Boy, there were some interesting decisions in that. It was a tight contest, and what Brian Goorjian does with Cam Oliver and gets him going.
He's going to play the 4th, is that correct?
Yeah, that's...
They're going to be a big story, Sydney, sorry, particularly when they're coming to play an in-form Melbourne on Thursday.
Absolutely. It's a big setup for round 7.
Jumper from Statman.
It's been really good.
It was tough. He's a scorer.
They incorrectly gave the foul, or directed the foul to the wrong player. I believe it should have been on Bowen. And they've made the correction.
Campbell block for 3. His first points of the season.
And the bench love it. I'll tell you what, when you're the bench right now and it's Tom Coppins who's standing up there, he enjoyed that, but he's also thinking, Dino, I'm still here. Kyle Bowen, why is he still on the floor? I'm waiting, Dino.
What about me? Very talented youngster, Campbell Blog. His Gack throws that away.
There you go, on cue.
It's too late, bro. Pete, that's too late.
Aaliyah out. Coppins in.
I didn't think I thought it might have been Krebs before Aaliyah. And it's just all Bowen.
Joel Foxwell doesn't get that to stick.
I think the crowd doesn't love this as well. Seeing the young guys get on, kick the scoreboard over. Takes you back, Drew, doesn't it?
No, it's true.
A long time ago.
It's true, but I think they would have preferred a bit more of a battle, a bit more of a contest, having said that. But no, it's good that they get to see some of the potential future Melbourne United players.
Not everyone can average 38 when they're 17, Drew.
It's been impressive, though, by Melbourne United, the way they've been able to take care of it, and just a lights-out shooting performance. 14 of 27 from the three-point line.
Turnover number 12 for the Taipans.
United only have the 7, which is a mighty performance by them as well.
Still a little under 5 minutes remaining. It's going to be a big score that United put on the board. Foxwell was blocked by McCoy. A little bit of sweat on the floor. It's been mopped up behind play. And Statman. And there's 10 points. One of the leading scorers for Cairns. Watch the look of this matchup on Krebs. Where do Melbourne sit in the scheme of things? I think everyone's pretty clear that Illawarra are the #1 seed right now. Melbourne is second on the table. Is that about right?
Absolutely. I mean, they just beat the Hawks, so that as you will. I still think the Illawarra Hawks at full strength. I keep saying it, Jack. We don't see some sort of series against those two teams, whether it's semi-finals or championships. We've been ripped off. But Melbourne United, the way they play defense, Absolutely. They're the top two. I think they're clear right now with Adelaide third. I reckon I've got the 36ers third.
Yeah, they're good.
They're going to continue to build as well. New Zealand, big win. Kings, as you mentioned, Joyce, a lot to figure out.
Yeah, a lot can happen. You don't have to go back to last year as Coppins knocks down the mid-ranger. And you saw what the Illawarra Hawks did.
Every single player and development player for Melbourne United has now hit the score sheet.
And with that evidence that you saw last year gives a lot of teams hope. Even someone like Phoenix, who have had a really tough start of it, they've got some talent that if they're able to get it together, things can turn around. So it's important why you've got an advantage like Melbourne United right now. You keep banking wins, you keep growing, because they're going to get one of these teams, the Kings, Phoenix, they're going to get better as the season rolls on.
There's the tongue. They raise it in style from Kyle Bowen. And we are now, from a Melbourne United perspective, in all-time franchise-high winning margin territory.
Ooh, 45 points it was, wasn't it?
Against Sydney?
Against the Kings. I remember sitting here watching that. Nobody knew what was going on in that. Cairns' biggest ever loss in the 40-minute era as well is 37 points.
Well, the good thing about that result, and there's Tony just comes down and just splashes a three. The good thing about that is the Sydney Kings took that 45-point thumping, and then 4 or 5 months later, they lifted the trophy and said, we're the champions. Now, there'll be a miraculous turnaround if Cairns can get to that level, but still, there is hope. It's been done before.
This timeout was called from Dean Bigman just to get some subs in. Adam Ford's trying to figure out if that's the same thing. And I'll tell you what, if I'm an opposition coach and things haven't gone my way, and if they've just called a timeout because they want to get some subs in and they're back on the floor, take 5 minutes. Take my time, sit down, run something, just get your message across to the guys on the bench. Here's the next 5 for Melbourne. That big game against Sydney on Thursday night to kick off round 7. Then you said the Cup Eve, Brisbane away, and then Perth and Adelaide.
I never understood.
We've circled that Adelaide matchup, I think, it's a big one for them to watch. Yep. After Sydney, of course.
I never understood a lot of the times when opposition coaches get upset because someone's taken a shot or called a timeout. Who cares? Now, I know that there's a belief that somehow or other you're rubbing it in. Well, don't be so bad. Simple as that.
That's the fix to the problem, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Just be better.
Just be better and grow from it. It's not... There's a whole bunch of reasons why you might be calling a timeout. It's not something that I don't think we should be getting upset about.
2 minutes left. Enough advice from Andrew Gaze.
I'll tell you what, McCoy has missed 5 or 6 of those exact same layups.
Late clock for the Snakes. McCoy gets into the lane again. He's 1 of 8, Jackson McCoy.
I would have to say 5 or 6 have been layups at the rim, just rolled out. 29% from the field, 22% from 3 as a team. They've shot the free throw. Very good, 16 of 19.
Statman certainly tried his hardest. The lead is an even 40 for Melbourne. Make that 42. Flynn Cameron is a plus 37 for the day.
Wow.
Chris Golding, a plus 36 in 17 minutes. Pretty good effort, Drew.
No, that's high quality when he's been out there.
Stitcher with the left hand. We'd like to see more of him.
Well, he's made the most of his minutes. Got some early on. And in that performance against Sydney, where he had 4 blocks in 4 minutes.
Joel Foxwell. Unsuccessful. McCoy pulls the trigger. This shooting clip hasn't got any better. Flynn Cameron plus 35, the highest plus-minus of the season. Well, that's about to change. He's plus 38. The highest plus-minus of the season is Paul Quall in round 1, who was plus 39.
Not done yet either.
He's still hunting for buckets. A 43-point win for Melbourne. One of their biggest in franchise history. And their biggest over Cairns in the 40-minute era. It is a Sunday afternoon destroyation at John Cain Arena. 106-63, the final score.
Well, we thought it could potentially go down this route with just the amount of key players that Cairns were missing. No Bradshaw, no Armstrong, no Groves. Coming up against the best defensive team in the league, and they blanketed them early, and it was always going to be tough from there. When you only hit 2 field goals in the first quarter, Drewy, you're going to set yourself up an almighty task against such a strong defensive unit.
Yeah, there's not too much positive you can say about this for the Cairns Taipans, other than they've got to try and find a way to dust themselves off and get some bodies healthy. But for Melbourne United, they did what they had to do. They were relentless in their defensive pressure. They shot the ball exceptionally well, 16 of 35 from the three-point line, and 47% overall. Still found their way 27 times. They got to the free throw line as well. So offensively, they ticked virtually every box. 28 assists on those 35 field goal attempts, 35 field goal made. So they were sharing it around, and it was coming easy to them.
And relentless defensively. Across the 4 quarters, they allowed 12, 18, 19, and 14 for Cairns.
They're the best defensive team in the league. They hold opponents to the lowest average score against, and that's going to get even better now after holding Cairns to 63. But even the teams that do manage to put up a respectable score, they have to work so unbelievably hard for it. You just don't want to look too far forward, but you think about having to do that against this team for 3 to 5 games. They're at full strength. Defense wins championships. Tasmania proved that.
All smiles for Melbourne United. Much more simpler contest than what it was Thursday in Illawarra. That was complex. It was emotional.
Controversial.
Today was just the Sunday scrimmage, really.
That was.
Get over to Steph Baumgart.
Thanks, Jack. With Flynn Cameron, our Foot Locker player of the game. Flynn, you've absolutely announced yourself as a star these last couple of games. You kept Rob Edwards to just 5 points. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Big team win for us. We haven't beaten Cairns in quite some time, so I'm glad we got it done tonight.
Edwards obviously found out. Were you feeling his frustrations on the floor?
Definitely, but we ain't going to talk too much about that.
Speaking of the voodoo, you just mentioned it, but how does it feel to break that finally? Does it instill extra confidence in the win?
Definitely instills confidence for us to get that done, but, you know, we just got to keep chopping wood, carrying water, carrying on to the next game.
After Thursday night, you spoke about your dad sending you a text message, obviously a mega name in New Zealand basketball. Do you think you'll hear from him tonight, and what do you think he'll say?
I'll hear about him tonight. He'll be like, good defense, and that's pretty much it.
Well done, enjoy.
Thank you.
Great performance from Flynn Cameron. It's been a fair weekend.
Come, Pero, as he gives your young fella a bit of love for the offense. Of course, he can play some defense, but he's kicking on with his development on the offense, and full credit to him.
Let's have a look at some of his highlights from the game, Hulse. We mentioned it at halftime. His confidence looks sky high right now.
Sure does, and again, just unfortunately probably creates a little bit of a headache for Dean Vickerman when they're at full strength. You've just got to play him right now. The way that he's stepped up in the void without Shea Ely, when Shea Ely comes back and then Delhi's at full strength, conditioning-wise, you've just got to find minutes for Flynn Cameron. The good thing is he's a bigger point guard than everybody else. If you have to play him at the 3, I think you can get away with it.
Great to see. We love youngsters making it their way here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Flynn Cameron handled his business this afternoon. Jack White had 19 rebounds on Thursday night. He backed that up with another performance on the glass this afternoon. 13 in total. He's with Steph.
Thanks, Jack. Well, if we could have had 2 Foot Locker player of the games, we would have obviously had Jack White. As you mentioned, a double-double. How did it feel?
It was fun. You know, we knew we had to come out here and make a statement against these guys. They've gotten the better of us, you know, the last few times we played against them. So, you know, we just want to come out to a home court protected. And, you know, it was great to see everyone getting the scoreboard. Everyone played a role tonight in today's win. And, you know, a really big step for us.
Breaking the Cairns voodoo, how does that feel too?
Feels good. You know, it's, I guess, something we're all aware of, but, you know, we don't want to talk about it too much. Like, you know, we just understand that we need to come out each game and, you know, play our game and be better. And, you know, we really had an emphasis on the defensive side of the court tonight to hold such a talented team to 63 and take some of their key guys out of the game. Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries and they're not 100%, but nonetheless, you know, every team's got to be respected and it's dangerous, so did a good job.
Such a big win without Shea Yearley. How good is Flynn Cameron?
Yeah, Flynn's been awesome. I mean, you know, that's sort of the thing for us. It's next guy up when someone's down, and Flynn's been unbelievable. You know, in practice for the last couple of weeks, he's been awesome, pushing us and keeping himself ready to go at a high level. And you know, it's no surprise to all of us, you know, how he's been able to produce in these games.
Well done, thank you.
Thanks.
Just gets better and better. Jack White, he's crashed the glass all weekend long. There's Chris Golding. Just didn't have to do a lot today. 15 points, 6 of 10 from the field. Only played the 17 minutes and ended up, Pete, a ludicrous plus 36.
Yeah, it's incredible numbers. To be able to have that kind of impact on the game and when you're on the floor in such a limited amount of time. But this is what Melbourne United do. They're a lot deeper than just their starting five, as we're starting to see. This is the defense that they pride themselves on. They've got offensive weapons, but what can they continue to build on the defensive end? It's a scary proposition.
Yeah, it is. It's they've got a lot of talent. And so whenever you're basing your game on what you're doing on the defensive end, the game can become a lot easier. It can camouflage a lot of problems that from time to time you can have with your offense. And Chris Golding just continues to find ways. Early on, it was getting to the rim. A couple of penetrations to finish at the rim. That's a tough fadeaway. And draws the double team behind the back, a little bit of razzle-dazzle. And the way he shoots the three ball, he's always going to stretch the ball, and you need to be a whole lot more intent in how you're going to come out and guard Chris Golding. Otherwise, he's going to light you up. He's a superstar when it comes to the three ball. And again, he's on display here, this one, in a somewhat reserved and not necessarily required to do all that much, but when the game was there to be had, he set the tempo early.
We're going to come back and wrap it up on the other side of this. It's Melbourne winners today, 106-63 at John Cain Arena. A 43-point win this afternoon for Melbourne United. They disposed of their bogey team and sent them packing back to far north Queensland. 106-63 over the Cairns Taipans.
There's a statement from the opening tip. Cairns, first couple of minutes, there was some turnovers, some poor execution, and then Melbourne United just put them to the sword after that. I mean, just look at the numbers overwhelmingly in Melbourne's favour. 28 assists is a big standout, but again, you're knocking down 16 threes. Means good things are happening, but defensively, that's the biggest talking point for Melbourne all season long, and they showcased it once again.
Great performance from Melbourne. That's 2 wins for the weekend. Matthew Dellavedova, not part of it on Thursday night, but played his role this afternoon, and he's over there with Steph.
And with another absolute star of Melbourne United, Matthew Dellavedova. Delly, it was a late game call just before the match with the ankle. How are you feeling?
I feel good. Yeah, felt like I was moving pretty well out there and just happy to get a good win.
Lynn Cameron's been an absolute star these last couple of games. Have you given him some advice?
He works so hard every day, and it's really paying off for him. So we're happy for him, and he does that at practice all the time. And defensively, he's been great, and we all know he can score the ball.
An absolute team win today. Every single player on the board. How proud are you?
It's awesome. I mean, we have a really deep roster, and we have a lot of guys that work hard at training, and we have some really competitive trainings, even with that gold squad. And for them to be able to get out there and get some reward for their hard work, it's great.
Thanks, Delly.
Thank you.
They have been all business, Melbourne, including post-game.
Well, they have, but you know, it's nice. You've got to be humble. You've got to think of what's coming up because the schedule's it's very rare to have a game like you have here today. So you enjoy it, you embrace it, you get to sleep well, but you look at Melbourne's what's approaching. They've got a wounded Sydney Kings, a Breakers that are full of pep after their win, a Bullets that are going to be desperate, and so you can't really sleep all that easily when you know what lies ahead. And certainly in a good position, though, to tackle that schedule.
Just 1-2, Pete, by round 8. They host the Perth Wildcats. Wonder whether Bryce Cotton's back.
He will not be there.
Don't be so negative.
Regardless of what the Perth want you to believe on Twitter.
We're not buying that.
I do not think that he will be there. I think that's a day-to-day injury, as they keep talking about, and John really said it's got to heal on its own, still in some pain, I think, sleeping-wise. So if he's still in pain trying to sleep now, you can't envision him playing anytime soon. Well,
in that case, we'll just fast-forward to round 9 when they take on the Adelaide 36ers, because that one will be a fascinating contest. Melbourne's second on the table for the Cairns Taipans. Here's what's to come, and I guess the big thing for them, yes, the games you can see there, their next 5, it's really about who they're going to have.
Well, I think it looks likely they're going to have Taron Armstrong back for round 7, which would be huge. The fact they've only got 1 game 2 in all these rounds, I think is the best part about it. They've been beat up with double headers, missing everybody. So hopefully Taron Armstrong back for the Sunshine Stoush. We still rolling with that?
I guess so.
I think so. It's very hard. Drew, give us a crack at it.
Sunshine Stoush.
Told ya.
I knew Sunshine Stoush.
It's hard. It's very hard, Drew. But then the Phoenix and under Josh King, they'll look completely different than the last time they played. And then 3 really tough games. So it doesn't get any easier in this league.
Cairns, it's slipping away. They're 3-6, so they've got it. You know, it's almost that stage. Even if you're just about fit, we're going to have to test you. Otherwise, the prospects of seeing playoff action is going to be pretty tough.
So the Kings are inside the top 6 bracket at the moment, but it's going to be a monstrous challenge for them to come to Melbourne on Thursday night. Brian Gordon returning back to Melbourne, where it all happened for him as well. But gee, this Sydney Kings team, it's hard to trust them right now.
Going to be some big talking points throughout this week, and there's not a lot of time on the practice floor to figure things out. And they're going to have to come into Melbourne and try and turn the tables.
Melbourne winners today, 106-63 on behalf of Andrew Gaze, Pete Hooley, Steph Baumgartel, and our team behind the scenes who make all the magic happen and make us look as good as you possibly can. Thanks for being with us on Sunday Hoops. We will see you on Thursday for the start of round 7 in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.
Adam.